A common question I get asked all the time is, what can Google Ads do for us? What can I expect if I have this particular cost per click? What can I expect if I have this sort of budget? What kind of cost per click will I end up having? What will my cost per lead or cost per acquisition be? And these are all really important questions. These are all questions that it makes sense that you want an answer to, because this matters. How much you pay per lead matters. How much you pay per acquisition matters in determining whether or not Google Ads is a viable and reasonable source of customers or clients for you. Now, whenever I'm faced with this question, it's kind of painful to answer because it depends on a lot of different factors. And explaining those factors takes a lot of time. It's quite confusing as well. So what I did was I just put together this calculator, if you will, to walk through just how much things can depend in terms of cost per lead, cost per acquisition, cost per click, and how at the end of the day we can see here that for a particular advertiser the ROI may range from anywhere from 26% to 840%, which is a massive difference in ROI. So I want to walk you through how you can use this tool, and you can download it from if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description below, or if you're watching this on our website, then right below this video or above the video, somewhere near this video, there will be a box where you can download this Google Sheet and use it for yourself. So all you need to do when you're using this yourself is the only things you need to edit are this column right here, every gray cell right here you can edit, and then these gray cells here. Now, before I go ahead and edit these and show you how that changes things, I want to walk through each one of these columns. And this is taking through the end-to-end of Google Ads, which is cost per click to ROI. So let's start off. And the first section here is, what is the average cost per click you may be able to expect based on your quality score. So if you're unfamiliar, the higher your quality score is, the lower on average you'll have to pay per click, and the lower your quality score is, the more you'll have to pay per click. WordStream did this really interesting study where they found that an average of how your quality score influences your cost per click. So in terms of the math used to determine your estimated cost per click, that's taken right from WordStream's quality score blog post. So what we see here is that if we have an average cost per click of $50 estimated by Google, and if we estimate that our competitors have an average quality score of 5, which is determining the average cost per click of $50, then if we were able to get a quality score of 8, we'd only have to pay $31.25 per click, which is a decrease of about 37.5%, where if we had a very low quality score of 1, we'd have to pay 400% more, which would be $200 per click. So we can already see here that what the end result will be can dramatically differ, because our cost per click may be anywhere from $200 down to $25. So this shows us what our estimated cost per click may be, and this right here, quality score 5, being estimated as being average. So then we translate that to, well, what about our cost per lead or our cost per acquisition? Well, to determine what our cost per lead or cost per acquisition is, we need to factor in not only what our cost per click can be, which can vary anywhere from $200 to $25, but also what our landing page conversion rate is, or wherever we're sending our traffic to. Because if we're converting at a higher rate, we'll have a lower cost per lead, and if we're converting at a lower rate, we'll have a higher cost per lead. So you can also edit these based on what you think your lowest possible conversion rate is, what you think your a decent amount conversion rate is, or what you think your high-end conversion rate may be. And you'll see different numbers based on that. And I'll get into customizing this later on once I go through everything here. But what we can see here is that if we have a 5% conversion rate at a 1 quality score, so red being the worst, green being the best. So 5% conversion rate at a 1 quality score, or a $200 average cost per click, our cost per lead would be $4,000. On the reverse side of this, if we have the best possible scenario based on these estimates, if we had a 20% conversion rate and a quality score of 10, dropping our cost per click down to $25, our cost per lead would be $125. So you can already see here, already just factoring in cost per click and cost per lead, there's a massive difference in what our cost per lead or cost per acquisition can be. And this also isn't factoring in future changes, meaning that if you set up your ads today, you might have a quality score of 4, which would mean, and a 10% conversion rate, meaning a cost per acquisition of $625 estimated. However, over time of optimizing the account, of spending more time on it, making changes to your account, making changes to your landing page, you should see your quality score going up over time. And if you're making changes to your landing page, you should see your conversion rate going up as well. So where you are today, or where you might think you might be, doesn't mean that's where you're going to be definitively forever. That's the whole point of managing your account. I digress. So moving on to the next section. So now we have everything for our estimated cost per click, our estimated cost per lead based on our quality score, and our conversion rate. Now we're moving on to leads per month when factoring budget. So now we're factoring what you're willing to pay. So if this is how much it's going to cost you per lead based on the quality score and conversion rate, and this is your budget, what's the maximum number of leads you'd be able to get? So if each lead costs you $4,000, you'd only be able to get up to 1.25 leads per month. And if each lead only costs you $125, if you were spending $5,000, you'd be able to get up to 40 leads per month. Moving on to the next section, we have your clients or customers per month when factoring in your close rate. So now we're factoring in sales rate. So if you're getting 1.25 leads per month and your close rate, or what percentage of leads you close into customers, is 30%, then you get 0.38 customers, that's clients per month. And on the high end, you'd be able to get 12 customers per month. And again, this is factoring in if you got this conversion rate on this quality score. Moving on, we now have revenue. We have ROAS, which is revenue minus your ad cost plus agency fees. Technically not ROAS, because I don't believe with ROAS you would technically count anything other than ad costs. You wouldn't count agency fees or anything else. Could be wrong on that, but I don't really use ROAS ever because I don't think it's a very good metric. But anyways, so if you were to just count your revenue minus your ad cost plus agency fees, if you have agency fees, or if you're running this for yourself, if you're running this for potential clients, I would put in whatever you charge them for. If you're running this for your own business, I would put what you estimate you'd be paying somebody to do the work for, because you want to make sure you're factoring all your costs. So, I know I'm scrolling back left and right a bit. I apologize if it's getting a little bit confusing or if I'm going too fast. But over here we have so the revenue, which would be the amount of customers or clients you have multiplied by the estimated lifetime value, or what that person is worth over the lifetime of them being a customer / a client of yours, minus what the ads cost plus the agency fees. So in this case, it would be 0.38 times 10,000 minus 5,000 plus 500, 5,000 plus 0. And if we change that to 1,000, it'd be, or 100 in that case, it'd be 5,000 plus 100. But it's these two right here. So that is just our revenue minus our ad cost plus our agency fees. What does it cost us to run these ads in the first place, and what are we making? So we see here anywhere from, in this case, the worst case scenario would be that we're losing $1,250 a month. The best case scenario would be that we're making $115,000 a month. So again, we can already see a massive difference in the performance of this ad campaign. Just based on the conversion rate and the quality score, is that it could be or it can be fairly unprofitable, losing $1,250 a month depending on the size of the business. That could be a massive loss, or something that just isn't working, to gaining $115,000 a month, which could be a very lucrative ad campaign. And then finally, the ROI, which is just the profit. So in this case, we're factoring in not just what you're making for this customer or this client over their lifetime, but also what the profit margins you have on your business. So in this case, 35% is what we have here. So if we factor in the actual profit margins and we divide that by what your total costs are, then we come up with your ROI in percentage. So in worst case scenario, 26%. Best case scenario, 840%, and anything that's over 100%, meaning that you're making more money than you are spending, is going to be in green. Anything where you're losing money is going to be in red, and anything where if you break even with exactly 100%, it'll be in yellow. So once we factor everything in, we can see here what would be needed at a minimum in order for this campaign to be profitable based on all these numbers. So what this means is that at a quality score of 1, we could be profitable just barely at 105% if we had a conversion rate at 20%, assuming that all these other numbers were consistent, meaning these down here. Now, if if we look at something that's maybe a little bit more average, if we had a 10% conversion rate, we would need an average quality score of at least 3 to break even, or just to basically make 126% of our money back. And if we had a 5% conversion rate, in order to be profitable, we would need a quality score of at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so as long as we have a quality score of 5, we'd be profitable here. So we can see that in the worst case scenario, we would have to have a quality score of 5, which is about average, in order to be profitable. We see here that if we have a higher conversion rate at 10%, it gives us a little bit more leeway. So even if our quality scores are fairly low, we should be profitable. So this is a tool I put together quickly just so that you can input some of this information and see just how much things range, but also give you an idea of what would be needed from both a cost per click perspective and a quality score perspective and a conversion rate perspective in order to be profitable on the account. So let's get into customizing this for this final bit. So anything in gray, you can go through and customize. So if you think you're going to have higher conversion rates than this, you can go through and edit that. If you know that your cost per click is going to be different, so if you go through the Google Ads Keyword Planner and it gives you an estimated cost per click, I would use that here. If you know what the budget is going to be, input that here. If you know what the lead to close ratio is, or what percentage of leads turn into customers/clients, put that here. What the average or estimated lifetime value is, so what a customer or client is worth over their entire lifetime, how much money will they give you before they're no longer a customer and never spend another penny with you, and what your profit margins are. If you're working with clients, I would get that from them. If you're doing this for yourself, just look at your P&L statements, ideally for over the course of an entire year. On average, what is your profit margins? And if you are an agency, add your agency fees here, or if you're a business that might be hiring an agency, add what you might be paying that agency here with. So let's look at a different case, right? So let's say our average cost per click for this other industry is going to be $20. Our budget is a max of $2,000. Let's say we close 30% of customers. Customers are only worth, $5,500, let's say. Profit margins for this business are 32%. And our agency fees, let's say you decide to hire an agency, or you are an agency and your fees are $500 a month. And let's go to conversion rates. And let's say you're familiar with the space, you've run ads beforehand, or maybe you're an agency that has run ads in the space, so you're fairly confident that at a minimum you'll get a 10% conversion rate. 15% you think is about average for a lot of your clients or whatever it may be, and you think that on the high end you'll get up to 25%. So we can see how this changes everything with the cost per clicks and the ROI at the end. So you can see here that this is updated based on our cost per click. So we've just changed, this is only affected by our cost per click. This has been affected by our cost per click and our conversion rates. So in this case, the low end here is that the cost per lead will be $800, and on the lowest end, $40, highest end $800. Leads per month would be anywhere from 2.5 to 50. The number of clients or customers would be anywhere from 0.75 up to 15. Revenue would be anywhere from $1,600 a month. So if it's negative, the text will be in red, and you'll see parentheses around it. So even this is just red because it's the lowest number, but in this case, it's still a positive number, meaning that the company should still be making about $1,600 a month from this ad campaign, even with the worst case scenario that's estimated here. And best case scenario, $80,000 a month. And we can see here what the ROI is that based on what we were running previously, this is much more likely in this scenario to have a positive ROI. If you want to run an EV or an expected value calculation, if you want to get that fancy with it, you can do that as well, to basically factor in what you think this campaign can generate for you or what's needed to generate an ROI. So in this case, a conversion rate at 10% at a quality score of 3 should be profitable. 15% at a quality score of 2 should be profitable, and 25% conversion rate at a quality score of 1 should be profitable. And if you're looking for a certain ROI, if you're like, hey, most of our campaigns that we run, most of our ads generate a 250% ROI, you can see what it would take to generate at least a 250% ROI in all these areas. In this case, you get a 25% at 3 quality score, 15% at 4 quality score, or a 10% conversion rate at a 6 quality score. So hopefully this made some amount of sense. Like I said, I literally just put this together because I got off a call with a prospective client. They were asking some of these questions, going through just how it depends so much. So I put together this tool for them, figured that I would release it to the public so that you can download it for your own business, or you can download it and use it for your clients as well. And the only things you need to edit are the gray sections. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and I would love to get some feedback as well of what you think of the tool. Thanks.